The GLIAC tournament ends with a loss in the finals to Grand Valley State, but the Cats still dancing nonetheless. Got the at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. Going to face Maryville on Friday. Just the second appearance in the NCAA tournament for this program, insofar as I could tell. First since 2010. Can you describe? I'm sure we've all seen the video, the emotion and the thrill of that moment when you're watching on the monitor as the team, and you hear your name called. What is, in that moment, what is that validation like?
I think it's pure joy, you know what I mean? And from a coaching standpoint, it's just pure joy just because the amount of work and the amount of energy and the sacrifice and dedication that the team has done this year. And so especially from a coaching standpoint, your heart can't help but be fulfilled, and it's fulfilled because the players are so happy about it. And it's something that we've been talking about since our coaching staff arrived here, and it's been one of our goals, and if not our overall goal each and every year. And each year we got a little bit closer, inched our way towards it. And this year I think we just matured as a group along the way, and we understood what it takes to get there, and so they totally bought into that method, and it's great to see them so excited and happy about it, and I think it's something that they definitely earned, they definitely deserve. So I couldn't be more thrilled, and I couldn't be more happier for the group.
So when you experience a breakthrough like this, where, like you said, you've been putting in the work for a couple of years now, and you've been gradually improving, and then when you finally punch through, what kind of effect does that have from the top down on a program, just in terms of both the confidence of the team and of what they know they're capable of, and of how that changes things for you and how you're able to recruit and how you're able to go about business knowing that you're building a legitimate contender here?
Yeah, it definitely changes things a little bit in terms of some of the recruiting standpoints. But the one thing that is, I think, more important, the one thing that's not going to change is the mentality that we have within this program. We talked a little bit about this last weekend. There's some recruits that choose easy, and there's some that choose hard and that want to put their name on something and want to build something. And that's the type of recruit that we've been going after these last couple of years. Not a recruit that wants to walk into something and see the end product. We want recruits who are willing to do the work to help build something here. And so that mentality of the recruits is not going to change. We want the hard-nosed kids that are willing to do the work, that are willing to sacrifice, that are mentally tough. And so from that standpoint, I don't think a whole lot is going to be changing in terms of the mentality of the recruit that we want to get. But, I think what happens here now is the bar just changes, and the standard changes, and the expectations change. The thing that makes great teams great is consistency. So we can't be satisfied with just 1 year or one entry. We can't be just happy with just getting in. And I think you'll see those expectations change as the years go on, that the expectation will be we always get in the national tournament, and then we want to win the first game. So I think it just changes the standards, expectations of where we are as a program.
So then coming up on Friday, it's Maryville, NCAA first round. Your thoughts on that matchup, Coach?
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute battle. Maryville's playing really good soccer right now. They just won the GLVC. And so they're going to be a real physical, really good attacking threat up front with a couple young players, a lot of pace up there. Overall, they're a very, very good team. They're very well coached. Their coach has an amazing playing career too as well. She's top notch. So I fully expect for them to be prepared. I fully expect a battle. But we're staying in Michigan, and I can't help but be happy there. And it's a place that we've been to several times. Grand Rapids is home for a lot of our players. So it feels a little bit better going downstate than having to travel to, let's say, St. Louis or whatnot.
So then with that being said, like we just talked about a little bit with Coach Lozier, when you get to the playoffs, into the postseason, which have already been going on for about a week now for your squad, but the game kind of changes and the stakes are raised, obviously, because then every match of the season could be your last. So what kind of mentality do you have to adopt? Or what does it do for your mentality, having that and having had to adopt that and then falling a bit short but then getting another shot at it anyway? What does that do for a team just in terms of your confidence and where you're at mentally going into a match like this?
Yeah, and I think I mentioned this in our last press conference too. And we talked about the mentality of this group, and I mentioned it to the team in our very first pregame speech, is that the difference this year is going to be our mental toughness, and our team is extremely mentally tough, and they know how to grind things out, they know how to battle, they know how to play for one another, and so being able to adopt that type of mentality is already ingrained. That's what we've been doing since August. And when you're in these high pressure situations, it does help that you're in the GLIAC, because most of the GLIAC matches are already high pressured, very intense, very physical. So all these things that have been leading up to this moment have put us in a really good situation to be successful. Now, again, every time you venture into new territory, like, again, the first time that we're going to the national tournament with this group, there's obviously going to be some butterflies and some intense moments. And what we talk about is getting into your first challenge, putting in a really big tackle, connecting your first pass, getting adjusted into the match as quickly as possible. And when you do those things, you set yourself up for success. And so leading into Friday, I think the thing that gives me a lot of hope and a lot of comfort is that this group has always been mentally tough. So no matter where we're playing, neutral site, home, away, this group knows how to grind out results. They know how to grind out battles. They know how to play for one another. So that in itself is already ingrained into our DNA. So I don't see that changing or taking any type of hit after Sunday's loss either.
Staying on that mentality, you talk about the Grand Valley game and like a next man up type of idea. You guys almost cleared out the bench in that first half, which is not something that you guys usually do. You've dealt with a couple injuries and maybe playing against the wind, probably keeping the condition up of your starters, but talk about what that's been like and what you've seen out of those bench players that came in to contribute some big minutes.
Yeah, we typically go anywhere between 6 to 7 deep, and we went a little bit more because of the injuries, but also because that was our fourth game in 9 days, and usually it's 14 days when we play 4 games. So, definitely it was a strategic move, trying to save a little bit legs going into the second half. I think a couple unlucky bounces, a couple of handball, and we get out of that first half 0-0, and then that really puts us in a very good situation leading into that second half. And, that just speaks to the program. We talked about this last time too as well. A large part of our success has been due to the players that maybe aren't playing very much and maybe are coming off the bench and playing 20 to 10 to 5 minutes, but at the same time, they've showed up every single day in training and have competed 100%. And when you have that kind of competition within your program, it pushes every single player in your lineup and in your depth chart. So nobody can be comfortable, nobody can settle. And I think that's a big, massive difference from last year to this year. We are very competitive from the depth chart from 1 to 25. It is very tight.